What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming by, and for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button because this is a place of gems, this is a place of interaction. The topic that we're going to be talking about today is, when do you know it's time to leave the organization or the company that you're with? When is it time to spread your wings and fly and to say deuces? How do you know? What are the telltale signs? We're going to be talking about all of that. So why have I decided to have this conversation? And really because in my coaching company, Alpha Suit, if you haven't checked out Alpha Suit, check it out. It's going to help you. It's going to change your life. But yes, in my company, Alpha Suit, majority of women tend to get very stuck in an organization that doesn't value them, does not acknowledge their contributions, does not promote them, and if they do promote them, it takes very long, it's very competitive, and the woman is just undervalued within the organization. What happens is that the woman is very disgruntled. She feels as though her voice is not being heard within the organization. She feels as though she's not even able to find something outside if she does decide to spread her wings, and all of a sudden she pigeonholes herself, and it's because the organization has done that. So now the woman picks up that really bad habit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you 5 telltale signs, right? So let's jump right into it. Number 1, the first telltale sign is that you are no longer happy when it's time for you to go to work. As soon as Monday rolls around, you are a sourpuss. You're not looking forward to seeing your colleagues. You're not looking forward to going back to your cubicle or to your office space. You'd rather be home, or you'd rather be doing something else. That is a telltale sign that it might be time to leave. So here's the thing, I agree. Not every job is going to be, roses and butterflies every single day. But if every single day you feel overwhelmed by the office space, you feel demotivated by the office space, you feel as though the office space is taking away from your peace, then this is definitely a clear sign that you have reached your peak or your limit of tolerance. Something might be happening within that space that is just driving you insane. The question is, can it be fixed? The second telltale sign is that you've been in the organization and you have not had either a raise or promotion. Now here's the thing, generally speaking, you should be promoted every 2 years, every 3 years, depending on the promotion guidelines and governance of the organization. If you are hitting your assessments every single time and you're still not being promoted, you have to ask senior leadership why. Is it that you don't see me as progressing within the organization? What is it that I'm doing wrong? And there are some companies that don't even have assessment, don't even have promotion, and you've been in that organization for 5 to 10 plus years with no promotion, with no salary increase either. So once you realize that time is ticking and your professional development is still at a standstill, that is a serious red flag. You have to be mindful that if you continue to say nothing about it, the status quo will continue to be perpetuated. So with that said, these telltale signs, yes, we see these things, but it also calls for us to say something and to raise an alarm. So the number 3 telltale sign that it is time to leave this organization is the culture is just toxic. Now this is what I was talking about in point 1 when I was saying that you need to know whether something is fixable or not. One of the hardest things to fix in an organization is culture. So usually when the culture is too toxic, and you realize that it's deeply ingrained in the DNA of the company, and you know that no change can be made unless leadership changes, honey, it's time to head on out. You see, the thing is that we wait for the company, we have this hope that the company would change and the culture would change, but culture is something that has grown over time. It is something that is very hereditary. It's something that is passed on. So it's very difficult to let go of bad habits. So you're probably better off going into an organization that is more inclusive, that is more staff orientated, that is more focused on developing their staff and developing their human capital. So honey, pack bags and it's time to leave. The 5th telltale sign that I have for you is look at the economy. Please do not leave an organization without looking at what is going on in the job market or in the economy at the moment. We are going through a pandemic right now, so I'm not telling everyone, okay, if you're fed up of your job, please leave your job. No, I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying to you that you need to watch for the red flags, you need to know what's happening in your organization, and you need to make an exit plan. How is your industry being affected right now with COVID-19? How is your industry coping with COVID-19? What are possible opportunities or new opportunities for growth or jobs that are coming up that you could probably fit into? Do you need to upskill? Do you need to de-skill? Is there something that you need to take up as a professional certification, for instance? These are things that you really have to consider before you decide that it's time to leave. I always tell my clients, do not leave until you have bloomed where you are planted. So ask yourself, you would have gone to this organization with a lot of high expectations and maybe some high hopes and some goals for the organization. Have you been able to meet those goals in some way? Do you feel as though you have fulfilled what needs to be fulfilled in this role? Have you gotten the relevant experience that is needed? Have you made the right connections? What is the footprint that you are leaving? Have you made impact within the organization? I also tend to see clients thinking that, okay, if I go to this next organization, or if I leave this job and I'm going into something else, things will be easier. And I just want to say to you that every single organization has its issues. So even if you leave this organization and you go to another organization that you think is grassier and greener, you're still going to encounter problems. And the problems may be very different. The problems may be of a similar nature, but the context or the extent of it might be different. And that's one of the biggest things that I want you to take away from this. You can't run from every negative situation. You can't keep running from conflicts. You can't keep running away from unfair treatment. It happens in many organizations. The question is, what is your response mechanism? How are you going to navigate the storm while being in those organizations? And how are you going to ensure that your professional development is always at priority? And the final thing that I want to say on this topic, and this is actually like a bonus tip, but this is the final thing that I want to say on this topic. Do not decide to leave a role or leave a position within an organization without reviewing your terms of employment. In there, it will tell you how much notice you need to give to your employer if you do decide to end your contract early or if you decide to resign. You want to ensure that you are within the remits of what your contract has stipulated. I also suggest have a look at what your benefits are. Some of us leave too quickly without getting access to our benefits. So have a look at how long you need to serve with the company to be able to be exposed to benefits. And that might be something that you would weigh up in terms of your exit strategy. I know that there are some clients that stay on in a contract just so that they can enjoy the benefits a bit more and create a plan so that when they leave, they would have gotten something from the company. And another thing that I would say you need to look at in your terms of employment is whether there is a competition clause. Now, if there is a competition clause, it means that you are not permitted to go and work for one of their competitors within the same industry or sector. And this is really to protect trade secrets. This is literally to protect their ways of working. They don't want their secret formula to be shared. So please, please, please be mindful of that, because you're thinking, oh, there's another great opportunity in this sector. You jump over to that sector and you realize that you would have breached your contract. I do hope that this video was useful to you. I know that this is trying times for us. We do feel a level of settling in some instances because opportunities are not in abundance of late, especially in the job market. But I do want to say to you that the most important thing right now is communication. And employees in particular have such a great space for communication right now because employers are listening. Your voice is actually enhanced in this time. We are hearing you loud and clear, as well as your employers. So please, please, please make sure that you are communicating your desires and what you seek. Those of you that are in an organization for a very long time and you feel as though you're stuck, you feel like this is definitely not going to change, it probably isn't. And it's probably because it's very deeply rooted in culture, and it's just a signal for you to start to create an exit strategy that works for you. And until then, I'll see you in another video. All right, you are light, you are love, you are destined for greatness. And as I always say to you guys, go bravely.